Didn't think I'd be talking about exactly the same thing with two different players in one morning on a Saturday before game weekend came about. Hello everybody, this is FUTV United TV. I'm Adam. We are back live with more news breaking over the last few hours since we did the early 8 o'clock show this morning where we talked about Garnacho, but now big details and more background information on what has been going on with Marcus Rashford and the fallout with Ruben Amorim. Just this morning, Fabrizio Romano, which I thought, you know what, I brought it up in the show when I talked about Romano talking about the issues with Ruben Amorim not being rectified and there still being a big problem. I didn't believe the stories from Friday that Rashford was seen by staff as this model pro and he was exemplary in his behaviour around training. I thought that was strange. Then Romano did a YouTube video last night talking about the issues not actually being sorted and there still being big problems. And then we did the show this morning talking a bit about that. And then after that, Laurie Whitwell has dropped the atomic bomb on what has really gone down and what is happening at Manchester United, and everything is coming out in the open right now. Where I said this morning that United are probably putting out the odd bit of information to make it look like Rashford's ill, he's not training, to make it look like it's better than him being in training and not being asked and not being selected because they want to sell him, has been completely thrown out altogether. Because Laurie Whitwell's article in The Athletic has just outed everything and every single problem that Ruben Amorim has had since he's been here at the football club. So 6 weeks worth of Marcus Rashford problems in one video this morning before we head into our first watch along on Football Talks after this show as well, everybody. And we've already done one live show. It has been a mental day so far and it just keeps getting crazier and crazier. I'm sure by the time we do the evening show tonight here on FUTV, there will be more developments. We have got updates again, literally from doing the morning show to now on Xerxes and on Mendes as well. More news has come out in just them couple of hours. We'll go through that as well. We'll talk about everything else that has circulated along with your comments as always. Get your points across, please, everybody. Let me know what you're feeling about this. But I'm going to get straight into what has actually been said and what Laurie Whitwell has outed here in this article in The Athletic and what's happened with Marcus Rashford. So this is all based around Marcus Rashford going out, the issue with Ten Hag, and not the issue with Ten Hag, well, probably issues from Ten Hag into what Ruben Amorim's dealing with right now. Him going out, his attitude in training, being tired in training, all of this rolled into one, and Rashford's side fighting against it as well, all within this one story here right now. So I'll just read out the initial one, which kick-started everything, which everyone has now done and is circulating around all social media, and that is from Laurie Whitwell's piece in The Athletic. After the match against Everton on December 1st, Ruben Amorim learned that Marcus Rashford had gone out in Manchester on the evening of the Friday, November 29th, less than 48 hours before. Amorim does not want his players to come off so close to games and asked Rashford about it, who assured him he had been misinformed about the late exit. In the final training session before facing Manchester City, he gave a lacklustre performance, according to many sources, some of whom said he looked tired. There were rumours that he had been out the day before, which those close to the player had categorically denied. I mean, you're looking at that straight away. Just to go in on the piece there about Ruben Amorim when he played Everton, to make it clear, he found out, because Rashford scored 2 goals in that game, let's not forget that, he found out after the game that Rashford had been out. So obviously Rashford, effective-wise, wasn't really affected by what had happened. This is all down to principles, rules, and what Ruben Amorim wants. Rashford, let's just make this very clear so you don't think I'm having a go at him. Rashford's best performance so far this season was against Everton, so whatever happened in them nights leading up to this didn't really have much of an effect on him because he scored 2 and he played quite well. I remember the game well. I remember thinking we turned a corner and we'd got 4 goals and we're back into positive goal difference in the league and everything was going to be working out. Well, it seems like everything has gone wrong from that moment for Marcus Rashford and the proverbial has well and truly hit the fan. So, going into another piece of this, what we've just read out there, he found out after it, so asked him about it. Rashford then saying to Ruben Amorim, he'd been misinformed about where he was or how late he was in coming out. Ruben, obviously, with two days we got to go before the game, wants to get training sessions in and doesn't want anybody doing anything social-wise that is going to affect anything in performance. Normal procedure. I think that's not just Ruben Amorim being strict. I feel like that would be the same at every single Premier League club across the board. I think that's just normal, so that's fine. So when asking him about that, like, look, he's probably gone into this and gone, look, you've played well done. Can you just clear this up for me? He's probably just learning about his players at this point. Obviously, it's only a couple of weeks in. Let's not forget that. What's happened, Marcus? Is this true? What's happened? We just need to get to the bottom of it, because we obviously have rules here, and we want to make sure that everybody's being treated fairly and no one is doing anything that's going to be detriment to their performance. I can only guess that is what the conversation was, but after a good performance you'd expect it to be along them lines, surely. Anyway, and then it goes into, after him saying to Ruben Amorim he's been misinformed, which is probably believed because he was actually alright in that game, like we said. In the final training session before facing Manchester City, he gave a lacklustre performance. According to many sources, some of them said he looked tired. There were rumours that he had been out the day before. I remember them rumours, because this is where it all started to really go wrong for Marcus, just before the derby. This is why Marcus Rashford was dropped from the Manchester City matchday squad, Manchester Derby matchday squad, which we all know about. And obviously, we talked this morning, if you didn't watch the earlier show, on the Garnacho side of this, which was outed, and why he missed the Manchester Derby. That was through ill discipline on the side of the pitch at Victoria Pilsen, where he turned his back and walked away from Ruben Amorim while he was giving him instructions. So that was purely football related, stupid, whatever you want to call it with Garnacho. But we've now got full explanation just 3 weeks on from that incident as to why both players were out. I think we can safely say that Marcus Rashford's one is a lot worse than what Garnacho's is, and we pretty much said that this morning, because Garnacho's been back in the squad, Rashford hasn't, so there is clearly a bigger issue right now. And to be honest, I read into that last bit again there. In the final training session before facing Manchester City, he gave a lacklustre performance, according to many sources. Some said he looked tired. If he's looking tired in the last training session before the Manchester Derby, something has gone wrong. Something has definitely gone wrong. He's done something. Ruben Amorim has picked up on this, and after speaking to him after the Everton game, it just looks like he has said, nope, sorry, not having that. These are the rules. Rashford, where it looked like everything was working right for him, 3 goals in 2 games, 3 goals in 2 starts for Marcus Rashford in Ruben Amorim's first 3 games. Everything looking rosy. All of the pundits and media saying, what are you doing with Marcus Rashford right now? Jumping in on these first few games, saying, look at the goals he's scored. This is what you could have been missing over these last games that you've just lost in a row, 4 of them. But nobody knowing what was going on behind the scenes, and nobody knowing what Ruben Amorim was having to deal with Marcus Rashford. And now we're all finding out. And I hope this just puts everything into perspective and tells everybody who is jumping to Rashford's defence over Ruben Amorim, because that's easy at the moment. And there are plenty of people doing it. Henry Winter, in fact, done exactly the same thing on TalkSport yesterday in coming on and defending Rashford, saying it's always about Rashford. He's always blamed for problems. I think people just need to remember, Marcus Rashford is the reason he is where he is now, because of how well he played and the good that he did off the pitch. He is there right now also in the negative side of the media because of what he's done on the pitch and what he's done off the pitch. So let's be fair and let's balance it. He got the praise when he did well, and what he did, that's fine. And he's getting negative praise now because it is actually coming out that he hasn't been behaving like a proper professional footballer, and he has pretty much thrown this club under the bus, and he's defending his actions. Otherwise he wouldn't have gone to Henry Winter and done this interview to say that he needs a new challenge, because he feels and he wants to make it look or drive the narrative that he's been unfairly treated at Manchester United. Because on top of that, more has come out on Marcus Rashford and what he actually feels. Marcus Rashford, and this Laurie Whitwell article, he's also known to feel that he does not behave differently from other Premier League footballers, but faces much more scrutiny over his social life. He doesn't behave any differently to any other footballers. Let's just break that one down. You're the one who took a private jet with your multi-millions that you've got over to Belfast to firstly do the right thing, watch an old teammate, go and watch his football, go celebrate. You had time to go out and have a drink, no problem with that, as long as you've got enough recovery time. But you also decided to stay a second night and then get back late and not be able to train because you was bladdered or unwell because of the drink. That was on you. So, do many other footballers do that? I've not heard of many cases, to be honest. So there's one behaviour you could talk about there. Actually going out celebrating your birthday after the Manchester derby. Look, everyone deserves to celebrate a birthday, and I'm sure many players have done. But sometimes, you know what, just maybe don't do the obvious. You are a professional footballer in a privileged position. Obviously, you want to behave like normal people, but you are treated differently because of who you are. You have to accept that lifestyle, that sometimes personal life has to come second because you're a professional footballer, which gives you the opportunity to have this lavish lifestyle in the first place. So when arguing this point, and you could even add the little trip to Madison Square Garden in New York, do most footballers on international break at your level behave like that? I'm sorry, no, they don't, because they're probably playing in international football, Marcus, and are playing well for their clubs, and then not going to New York because you got 5 days off because you haven't performed well on the pitch. You do not behave the same way as other footballers do. You don't. And nobody does at Manchester United. I mean, you look at it like this way, and I say that, and I'll explain what I mean by that. You're at Manchester United. You're under the spotlight. You want to take the glitz and the glory of things going well. You have to be responsible for things that you have done wrong and take the negative press that comes with it. You can't have it both ways. And this is him, I think, again, trying to defend his actions. He really is. He is not going to accept any blame in this at all or any fault. He is fully coming out here, first through Henry Winter, who is back in his corner. Now the Athletic are reporting that he feels like he is mistreated compared to other footballers. He does nothing different than what any other footballer does. I'm sorry, look, that's what Marcus Rashford said. That's what the Athletic have said. That's not coming from me. I can just give my opinion off the back of that report. And that's how I feel. I think you do behave differently to other footballers in the Premier League and across the world. And you are at Manchester United, where it is going to be scrutinised and criticised even more for any minor thing that goes wrong. You have to look at that. Is there anyone at Manchester United that behaves similarly to what Marcus Rashford does? Probably not. Probably not. They haven't got that lifestyle. They haven't. Nobody gets an entourage walking out of Madison Square Garden wearing Louis Vuitton pyjamas like Marcus Rashford did. No one gets that. That was on him and what he did there. Look, Casemiro was the same. He went out to the States. He wasn't pictured doing this or wearing this bling or anything like that. But then again, let's not forget, he hasn't had a history of going out drinking and not being available for football matches or training for that matter, has he? So no one's really going to be bothered looking at him. You have made your bed, Marcus Rashford. You are going to have to lie in it and deal with it. Stop defending yourself and making excuses. You are a poster boy, a pin-up for Manchester United, the highest paid and most experienced player at the football club right now in its worst ever period. And you are going to have to watch what you do. Like Luke Shaw, he deserves criticism for what he got for doing a stupid Molly Ray bleeding TikTok. I mean, seriously, I don't know what goes through these players' minds sometimes, but the fact that he's trying to defend himself in this tells you that it is all wrong. Not everybody at Manchester United, and everybody at Manchester United cannot be wrong in their opinion of him. And there's more people saying there is problems than there is people saying that Marcus Rashford is doing the right things at the moment. That's just the balance of it, and I think that's where we have to look at it. We have to be honest with what's actually going on right now, and he isn't doing the right things. He's not doing the right things on the pitch. He's not doing the right things off the pitch. And they're facts. We know that. They're there right in front of us right now. And that, for me, is what he's up against right now and what he has to accept. So if he's not willing to do it and he wants to make excuses, he wants to obviously try and defend his corner, then that's entirely up to him. But from now, look, it is basically all on you, mate. Change your career. Go for it. Do the right thing. You can salvage your career here, because this is killing his career. This is, like the title says, this is Marcus Rashford's career-threatening behaviour and lifestyle right now. It is. Whether he thinks it's good or not off the pitch, it's killing him off it. It's killing him on the pitch, because it's quite clear nobody wants him. United are having to go out their way to sell him, and you're supposed to be one of the best forwards in the world. Or you think you are anyway, or your entourage and your people, whoever your representatives are, feel you are. You're nowhere near it. and nobody feels like you are. Over 100 likes. Thank you, everybody. Over 800 in the room. Please give the video a like. It is extra content. Of course, I wasn't planning on doing this video, but that much information has come out. I feel like we just needed to top up what we did this morning before we head into our first live watch-along on Football Talks. The link is in the live chat, everybody. Please do make sure that you click on that link and come and join us. We are going straight there after this live show, everybody. So please get your likes in on this one. Make sure you have subscribed and also subscribe over on Football Talks as well, everyone. Newcastle against Spurs today. That is the game. I just feel like I have to watch that before we go into tomorrow's watch along against Liverpool, because I need to prepare myself. I need to be ready, fully ready for tomorrow. It's going to be a tough day, isn't it, for United? But just on top of that news, this isn't on Marcus Rashford, but it is related to him as well. Laurie Whitwell has also talked in The Athletic, saying, as you can see going across the bottom of your screen there, Ruben Amorim's treatment of Marcus Rashford is aligned with those above him at Manchester United. This is the damning side of things for Rashford and why it is really over. Because I've said this before, you've had players that have got away with things. You've had managers that have been sacked, that have been made to apologise to players because of their so-called bad treatment of them. And now you've got a different hierarchy and a different board. And the structure above the manager is on board with him, because this says everything. And this has come from Laurie Whitwell of The Athletic again, where he says Ruben Amorim's treatment of Rashford is aligned with those above him at Manchester United, namely Sir David Brailsford, Omar Berrada and Jason Wilcox. He's screwed. There's no one at United that's on his side. When you're comparing him, or if you're competing off him against Ruben Amorim, or you're sort of fighting up against Ruben right now as a player, you ain't going to get the get out of jail cards. There isn't anyone at Manchester United that's going to bail these players out anymore. This is what we were saying, and this is probably the argument towards when Ruud van Nistelrooy was let go by Manchester United. And everybody's saying, and maybe he should just keep him around. He knows these players well. Maybe Ruben Amorim needed Van Nistelrooy to go because he knew these players well. And these players could have used someone else at United right now to actually help them get away with things. But that there tells you everything you need to know and why Marcus Rashford will be out of the football club. Look, everyone above Ruben Amorim, in order there, from Wilcox to Berrada to Sir David Brailsford. Sir David Brailsford being the key name in all of that, because he would not stand for any lacklustre or excuse-style performance from any player. If you are not elite and you are not striving to get to the best level, then you are out. It is simple as that. That's Brailsford. Omar Berrada had that at City. Ruben Amorim has just gone on about that and on about that consistently since he's been at Manchester United and trying to help Marcus Rashford out. And Jason Wilcox is Ruben's second-hand man. So he doesn't stand a chance. And his people can fight his corner all they want. It isn't going to help him this time. He is done. And I think that's why we're confident in saying what we're saying. But unfortunately for us, has this hampered our attempts to get rid of him, because he looks like he isn't worth the hassle right now. And I think the timing of this story coming out from Laurie Whitwell is probably not playing. It's telling us the obvious and what we already knew, but it's not helping United's cause, I don't think, right now. And that is that we're now making Marcus Rashford look even worse than what he was. And that wasn't great before. So reality tells us that we have made a bit of a problem for ourselves here in Laurie Whitwell bringing this out. And maybe now it is difficult. Hopefully Conte still does like him. We can get this swap deal done, because something definitely needs to happen in this. But yeah, let's get into the comment section before we move on with other news that has come out as well. Give Rashford a slack. He is a single man after the latest airhead from Love Island dropped him. He needs to go out and pull a new bird. He got needs. Nothing to see here, says Dennis. Toomey says, that's what happens when you give too much money to a kid. They don't have the drive and desire anymore. They think they got it all and no longer dream of being the best spoilt brats created by the Glazers. Luke says, when it comes to the players' social life, my opinion is if the manager is okay with it, then I'm okay with it. As Ruben has said in the past, the club has to set the standards of what's acceptable. And the problem he's got here is like these things happening in his social life have happened while Ruben Amorim has been in charge. So this is twice. Twice he's been ill. Twice he's been reported out in nightclubs when he shouldn't be. And this is just in the 6-week spell that Ruben Amorim's been in charge. I mean, seriously, not looking good. Not looking good at all for him. So, yeah. In the days of Rome, if you turned your back on Caesar, your head wouldn't be connected to your neck for long. If they don't get rid of Garnachas, how does Amorim gain respect from the dressing room? That from Director of Football. Going in, quoting Roman times right now. We're going to get the old thumb out soon, aren't we? We'll have people in the crowd like that now making substitute decisions now. Going off Director of Football's example there. It's like, should we sub him off? And all the fans will be up like that with a thumb in the air. Like, are we going off? Are we keeping him on? Let the fans decide. We'd have no one on the pitch if the fans were deciding who played for Man United. Oh, good damn. Don't play Rashford, would play on injury, and you will be stuck with him. That's the point, Jerry. Like, are we just not playing him now so he doesn't get injured? I'd happily never sing that Rashford song again. Always sang it through gritted teeth. Oh, yeah. Anyone asking where the story has come from, by the way? Yes, like Kaz says there in the chat, Laurie Whitwell of The Athletic is the one that's broke this today, and everyone is talking about it. So it's not like we are just making this up or trying to dig something out here. He's actually come out today, and I actually do think it's not good news for us because it's making him look even worse than what he is, which wasn't great before. So that's the issue that I've got with it coming out right now, and that's the problem United have to deal with. And I feel like I'm sort of stuck here like that, whereas it's good that other people are talking about it. I'm looking at this in the situation where we're in a transfer window right now, and it's not good because everyone else is looking at it. Do you know what I mean? Like, we knew that Rashford was like this. We didn't need anyone to come out and report it. I mean, we've been told loads of stories, and I've talked about them here on FUTV TV, and I trust the people that have told me these stories. And for someone like Laurie Whitwell and The Athletic to come out and do it now and it be bang out there. And like I said at the top of the show, Romano's saying that there's issues there still. Then Laurie doing this. That's now everyone in the world who knows what's going on if they didn't already. And does that stop him being moved on? Ill-timed? You could say. But hey, look, we'd rather it be common knowledge, wouldn't we, surely? And that everyone is seeing what he's really like. But yeah, I just worry that we can't get rid of him now. 150 likes in the bag. Please subscribe to FUTV United TV. Make sure you have liked the video as well. Let's get over 200, please, everybody. Extra content. It wasn't going to be originally out. It's just come about because of the news that has broke since our last show. So I wanted to do that because I'm doing a watch along on Football Talks. I'm not going to have a midday show today on FUTV United TV. So we're just doing this one before the watch along, and then we're going to lead right into the watch along after this show. So make sure you're prepared for that one, everybody. Gives it snow tomorrow in Liverpool. I want it cancelled. No, we've got to go in there. We've got to accept what we are and deal with it. We can't just bail. Rashford going to be worth 2 Freddos and a packet of Walker's crisp at this time. All these reports stop. Please smash the like, says Tom. Please do. No time for Rashford anymore. Let's move on from him because it's actually a downer when his name is mentioned. We play Liverpool tomorrow. We do, but United, a hot topic, and we're always going to talk about every bit of news. Sorry that it is all about him, but we're clinging on to anything to get him out of the club. So the good, the bad, and the ugly, it's always going to be talked about. Garnacho wanting to go to Real Madrid. It's kind of linked to Adam. They use white hankies. He should go there. Yeah, the white hanky brigade. Oh God, that is brutal at Real Madrid when they do that. That is quite scary, actually. Imagine being a player. Imagine Xerxes in that moment and what happened at Old Trafford with him. And now that would be going down at Real Madrid, and we think we're bad. Wow. Jose predicted the fall off of with Rashford in 2019. Ask as Sky pundit at Manchester United versus Chelsea game. I did see that one, Alex. Yes, that has been doing the rounds since all of the news around Marcus Rashford has actually been doing what he's been doing, or has been reported to be out on the lash. I think everybody's looking at Rashford in a completely different way now. But hey, look, we need to move on with the other news as well. We do have other news regarding Mendes. Now, a very, very popular Portuguese publication has come out and stated that Nuno Mendes, and the report is, and everyone's onto this right now, Nuno Mendes is ready to join Manchester United. His girlfriend lives in Portugal, but Mendes wants her to join him in Manchester, and she is already thinking about packing her bags. It sounds a bit thingy, doesn't it? It sounds a bit non-reliable, let's say. It sounds like it's just something that someone's made up, but it's not. It's real, and it is a big, big Portuguese publication that has put this out. So we are literally on the cusp right now of seeing something seriously happen with Nuno Mendes. I think the news is coming out, and yeah, like I said at the top of the show, we have got Xerxes news coming up as well, and what is happening with him. We have got quite a lot of moving and shaking going on. This morning we said, obviously, keep an eye out for Joshua Xerxes, Casemiro, Malacia. The news this morning was Malacia and Xerxes leaving could only mean that something would happen with Rashford and Osimhen, and maybe United bringing in a left wing back. And now the Mendes talk has upped again after what happened yesterday. The contract talks broke down with PSG in a last-ditch attempt to sign him up to PSG. And we found out that they want to get full whack, 40 to 50 million for Mendes. We're now hearing stories from Portugal, obviously being Portuguese, his girlfriend living in Portugal, from a Portuguese outlet, that he is ready to make that move and wants his girlfriend and family to move over to Manchester with him. So that would sort of lead into United being able to let Malacia go on loan to Juve. But the latest report that has come out regarding Xerxes, of all people, and the story we talked about this morning is Joshua Xerxes has said yes to joining Juventus. All that's left is a deal to be made with Manchester United. Talks continued yesterday. This is from Forza Juve and Gazzetta as well. Gazzetta dello Sport has also reported this. So sources in Italy backing up what was said yesterday from Damasio, in that Manchester United are okay with Xerxes going on loan, but the negotiation part of this, and the only reason why it might not happen, is because Manchester United do want a obligation to buy. United's stance on Xerxes was made very clear yesterday, and that is that they want him out of the club permanently. They're happy for him to go on loan to Juve, and now they will negotiate in, and I think this is where the Gazzetta dello Sport is talking here as well from Italy, in that he will be leaving Manchester United. That's the only way that they're going to get him on loan. And I think that's what we have to remember in all of this. There's lots of people talking right now about the game being postponed. Lots of weather warnings going on as well. Oh God, there's too much happening right now. There really is. Just a quick one again. I'm going to get your thoughts on Joshua Xerxes in a moment, and get plenty of comments in from the chat. But another quick update on what Laurie Whitwell said as well. To today's date, 815 million has been sucked out of Manchester United in interest payments from the Glazer ownership. His report today was absolutely... it was hard hitting in so many different areas. It's like they've just said, like, look, we're just going to run this. That's it. We're just going to run this. United are going to be fully outed in what is going on at the football club right now. And there's nothing that you can do about it. But on top of that, we've got all of the transfer news as well. So in a day and in one morning, in one Saturday morning, there's been an absolute world of stories. Garnacho first, then Rashford, and all of the issues behind the scenes. Xerxes has said yes to Juventus. They also want Tyrell Malacia or Mendes. He's ready to up his girlfriend and move to Manchester ASAP. He has turned down PSG. There is so much happening right now. But on the Joshua Xerxes news, everybody, please do get into the comments right now. Are you concerned that there is no other deal sorted with the likes of Osimhen or Rashford or another forward coming in, and Xerxes leaving would leave us even shorter in selection for Ruben Amorim? Let me know. Get into the comments right now. I'm going to get into it and see what you're saying about everything else. But get to me on Xerxes in particular, please, everybody, if you can. I want to know what you're feeling about this. Are you concerned that we are leaving ourselves short if we let Xerxes go? I know that there could be money coming our way, and I know it sounds like an alright deal if we can get that done. But is it giving up on the rest of the season if we cannot get another forward in? And how important is Rashford leaving now if Xerxes is going? If we are getting transfers in or out, I hope we get them in out soon and not going to be at the end of the window. In terms of right now, big games coming up. Obviously, the two big ones is Liverpool tomorrow and then Arsenal, obviously, next weekend. Then we've got the Southampton crucial game at Old Trafford, followed by Brighton and Rangers at home. So 2 away games, then 3 home games in a row. And then I think we've got Fulham away and the last game, Steaua Bucharest away in January. January is stacked. He's got 2 weeks now at the start of the month, and then the last 2 weeks of the month is pretty much, again, like 2 games a week, every single week, all the way into February. And where we will stand at the end of January, I do not know. But let's get into this. Amorim needs a left wing back, and it's good he's getting someone he's comfortable with. No more excuses for Amorim to stabilise the team. Not saying he should start winning every game, but stop the free fall. It will stop eventually, I think. I think it will come to a point where he actually gets the grip with it. Good. That's what's happening when you walk off down the tunnel. I can't remember a transfer that would be as short as Xerxes. No, Luke, that is a good point. That must be the shortest and biggest transfer fail ever when it comes to Manchester United, surely. A player in the summer with all the hype. He's actually scored a few goals, but he's out before the next transfer window shuts. Actually, 5 months? Wow, that's bad. Ronaldo was right. You can cry about it and accuse me of being Ronaldo's fanboy, but he was right. Our youngsters are big-headed. Rashford being the lead-off. Look, do you know what? On what is happening with Marcus Rashford, what Ronaldo said as well, I think he's absolutely huge when it comes to what he said about the youngsters. I think it was an issue with Greenwood at the time. I think he was trying to talk to Greenwood. There was lots of things going on with the youngsters, and Ronaldo was definitely right on that. The only problem Ronaldo had at United was he walked out because he wasn't picked. He's got no God-given right to walk out on his teammates in the middle of a game. That's the only thing he did wrong, really. That was spat your dummy out, gone. Then he went and did the interview, and if we're going to slag Rashford off for interviews, we're going to slag him off as well. But he was definitely right about that. He was right about the youngsters having an attitude, not wanting to learn. That was something that he had to learn at Manchester United, and Ronaldo was spot on with that one. If them younger players don't want to take any sort of guidance or any advice from senior players, then there is no hope. Ruben Amorim himself is talking about this now. He's talking about it continuously, all of the time, about leaders in the dressing room, leaders on the pitch, helping these younger players out. This is what needs to happen at Manchester United, and he needs more from them senior players because he can see the younger ones struggling. He can see the younger ones. I don't think you can blame the senior players for it completely, and every man is in charge of his own decisions. You've got to look at it that way. Every man like Garnacho can make his own mind up about things and make his decisions off the pitch. Same with Ronaldo, same with Greenwood, same going all the way back to many of Manchester United young academy players. If they don't want to learn, if the advice is there, then what more can them senior players do? If they don't want to learn, then there is seriously a problem within the culture of Manchester United, and the whole environment and atmosphere around the football club has and always will be the biggest problem, which I think most people have actually picked up on and picked out anyway over the years. That will never change. There will always be an issue at Manchester United in and around the football club like that until these certain players are out of the club. And then we can start looking at the real role models within. I don't think it will fix anything, Rudvesh, other than he will get a new player. That's it. We will still be a complete mess. And, I think as soon as he starts getting his players in, it's like he talked about Bruno Fernandes and Manuel Ugarte being back in and how important that is. I think that is important. It's very, very important for Ruben Amorim to actually have these players back into his side. So, yeah, let's look at it that way. Let's try and, if we get maybe 2 players in, if we do in fact get an Osimhen and a Mendes in January, definitely moving in the right direction and definitely moving towards salvaging something this season for us as well, when we thought we'd all given up on it. But yeah, I think they are definite quality players that will change the team. I don't know if Mount's going to be fit for the last 2 months of the season. He's supposed to be back in March, but you get him back and maybe you find something else. Maybe Yarrow comes in and starts being a bit more I'd say consistent in the starting lineup. Ugarte is getting better and better. Maybe we find the best spot for Ahmad in the team. Bruno Fernandes gets a bit more disciplined. If buts, maybes. And all hope, you would say, more than anything else. But still, when you look at what is happening right now, it can only get better. It can only get better, surely. Super chat in from Alex says, Premier League in 2005 it should never allow biggest profitable club in Manchester United to be purchased on a 1.1 thousand margin call by banks. Unfortunately for us, the new rules that have come in with ownership are too late. And the grandfather rights of the Glazers and them falling into the new guidelines which are in at the clubs in the Premier League now are too late. They have already taken everything that they possibly can out of United, and like Larry Whitwell says there, 850 million in interest to service the debt that the Glazers have stacked onto this football club. Almost $1 billion. Let's be honest, if you had $1 billion and you gave it to the people at Ineos that the Glazers had employed to run the club, they'd probably waste that as well, because they were that crap at what they were doing. The problem we had was, from the top, the Glazers weren't bothered about who was running the club. They thought they could just leech off as much money as they possibly could without any sort of accountability for where the club finished. As long as they were doing it just enough to have their sponsorships and endorsement deals in place and be relevant in certain competitions, then that's all they were bothered about. And it was always the same. Until they figured out that they couldn't get any more money out, and now we are where we are. Ineos are picking up the pieces. Let's just see what other comments we've got in here before we finish up. We have to get across to Football Talks. We are live in 5 minutes over on Football Talks, everybody. All I want you to do now is please just give the video a like. Well over 1,000 in the room with us again. Let's get up to 300 live likes before we leave this stream. Make sure you have subscribed to Forever United TV. Jump across to the link that's in the live chat right now. I'm going to be live again in just a few moments' time over on Football Talks for the watch along this afternoon between Newcastle and Spurs. Come and join me there, everybody. For now, that is it on Forever United TV. I'll be back later live on FUTV with all of United updates this evening after the football's finished today. But we're over to Football Talks now. Thank you, everybody. Fully up to date with United. Have a good afternoon. Come and join me now, and we'll carry on the conversation while watching Newcastle and Spurs. Cheers, everybody. See you over on